Welcome back to A Couple Threads. I'm Heather.
I'm Armand.
Before we jump into today's stories, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for new videos every single week. The theme for today is in-laws from hell.
Sweet.
Getting into the first story, coming from r/am I the asshole, 3 years old, titled, Am I the asshole for calling the police on my mother-in-law? I, 28 female, got married to my husband, 34 male, a week ago. We got engaged about a year ago, and when I got engaged, my mother gave me a pair of earrings, which she said every woman for generations in our family has worn to their wedding. They are 4-carat dangling earrings, and they are worth a lot. I felt very honored to be given them, and it made me feel closer to my grandmother, who had died 2 months prior. About 3 months after that, I went wedding dress shopping with my mother, my sister, and my fiance's mom. I brought all the jewelry that I would be wearing to my wedding to see how they would match my dress. When I put the jewelry on, my mother-in-law kept going on about how gorgeous these earrings were. My mother explained the whole story and how they were a family heirloom passed down for generations. I found the dress of my dreams and bought it. On the day of my wedding, I had everything ready in my room. My wedding dress, my flowers, my shoes, my makeup, and my jewelry. I was in there with my soon-to-be mother-in-law. I then needed to use the restroom, and when I came back, my mother-in-law was gone. I wasn't sure what had happened, but I just thought maybe she got called away to do something. I then noticed my earrings were also gone. I knew straight away she had taken them. I found her and confronted her, and she said she didn't take them. I asked if I could look through her bag, and she said no and gripped onto it. I said that if she didn't let me look, I would call the police, which I then did, as she was still not letting me take a look. The police arrived and searched her, and the earrings were found in her bag. They were returned to me, and they asked if I wanted to press charges. I wanted to talk to my fiancé first, and he said he would support me if that's the decision I made. I didn't want to decide in that moment, so I just ignored it and had a great night. That was a week ago, and ever since then, I've been getting loads of threatening text messages and calls from my husband's side of the family. My mother-in-law has been sending me extremely hateful texts, and I think I want to press charges now, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Am I the...
She technically stole them.
Yeah.
Would I have called the cops? Probably not. I think the better thing to have done in this situation is tell her fiance, like, hey, your mom stole my earrings, my family heirloom earrings. Try to resolve it within each other, because this is only going to create more tension. Like calling the cops on her. It's a bit much. Is she an asshole? No, because the mother-in-law is definitely in the wrong on this one. But I think resolving it internally first, trying to resolve it internally first, should have been the go-to.
I agree. I will say, though, it was her wedding day, so you might not necessarily want to call your fiance at that point in time because,
Sure.
one, the tradition of not seeing each other, things like that. And she did try to confront the mother-in-law and say, hey, like, did you take them? And she was like, absolutely no, I did not. I think, like, if it is that important where you want to wear them on your wedding day, it's not something you can just resolve tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I kind of think in that aspect, like, okay, if I need them back right here, right now, what else am I going to do other than call the police? And she did give her a warning, like, hey, if you don't let me look in your bag, I am going to call the police.
Did she call the police?
Mm-hmm.
She did. But now also you're calling the police on your wedding day.
Yeah, literally.
So now it's even now it's gonna be even more tense.
Yeah. And I do understand, like, 4-carat diamond earrings are not cheap by any means.
It doesn't matter the value of it.
Yeah.
In the end, that's yours. It could have been a pair of cheapo earrings, you know? In the end, if that's what you want to wear, your mother-in-law has no right to take that from you on your wedding day
Yeah.
when stress is already going to be at an all-time high.
Hot take, but if she wanted to take them the day after. I don't know. Like,
Sure. But I think that was the point of it, was
yeah,
taking it the day of the wedding.
it hurts more that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overall vote on this one is not the top comment is mother-in-law is a thief that tried to take and make off with your heirloom earrings. F that.
Yeah.
Press charges and be done with her for good. Which that part is a gray area. There's always going to be animosity between you and your husband. Even though he said he would respect if you wanted to press charges, I feel like that's going to create tension later on.
It is because in the end, even though it's her mother-in-law, she doesn't have to talk to her. It's also going to be her new husband's mom,
Yeah.
which
She's going to have a say in a lot of things.
Yeah, do you expect him to not talk to her?
Right.
It's tricky. It's very, very tricky, and it's a very fine line of what you should do and what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
So I get it. If emotions are high and she resorted to that, I can't blame her.
Yeah.
Because you don't have time to think.
No, for sure. And with the pressing charges too, it's a matter of like, you want to make sure you get the point across of like, don't mess with me again too.
True.
So I understand that.
Nip it in the bud.
Yeah. Because otherwise, if you let it slide, it's going to keep happening.
It's going to keep happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a very fine line there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In-laws are always tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Next story. Coming from r/AITH, 1 year old. Titled, Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law that she isn't allowed at our wedding ceremony if she can't accept the fact that my daughter will be the flower? I, 25 female, am marrying my high school sweetheart, 26 male. We decided to finally tie the knot after nearly 7 years of dating. I truly love him and thankfully get along with most of his family, except for his mom. She is continuously nagging at me for not giving her a grandson. I know this may be harmless, however, my fiance has repeatedly told her that she already has a grandchild. My baby girl is 5. She's my best friend's daughter. They sadly passed away. She was my godchild, so it only felt right that I should take her in and bring her up in a way I knew her mother, my best friend, would want. Recently, we had begun getting bridesmaids' dresses, etc. We both decided to make our newly found daughter a flower girl. She loves flowers, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity to help her feel like we take her as our own. At a recent family gathering, my fiance's mother has a non-stop been horrible to my girl. Let's call her Ellie, saying things like, I simply don't understand why an adopted child should take the place of true blood, which simply made my blood boil, along with many other comments she made. I pulled her aside, asking her to tone down her comments, knowing how much this meant to Ellie. She kept saying I was being rude to my new family by making someone who, in her eyes, has nothing to do with me the flower girl. I immediately snapped, feeling outraged by her comments. Ellie is my godchild, and I will always care and love for her. She seemed hurt at my words, but I didn't care, immediately taking me and Ellie out of her house. When my fiance came home, he was confused as his mother said I was being verbally abusive towards her and making threats. I did no such thing. I was just protecting Ellie. Anyway, a few days passed and Ellie was upset as she noticed we hadn't seen her cousins who were staying with my fiance. Shoving all my anger up my ass, I finally decided to try and apologize and head to her house once more. All was fine until I heard a horrid scream. Rushing up the stairs, I saw Ellie crying whilst my fiance's mom was standing screaming at her while holding her teddy bear, which her mother had made. They are inseparable, and I know what that means to her. It's a struggle to even wash the teddy bear, and I immediately snapped once more at her. She stood embarrassed as the whole family had gathered. She then gained confidence, saying she was upset that I had chosen fake blood over real blood. I think you can choose family, and friends can be even better sometimes than your own. I was upset watching Ellie crying as my husband grabbed the toy, taking her away from the heated situation. I finally had enough, saying she has no such problem with her being the flower girl. She might as well skip the wedding if that's the case,
Hmm.
and just join us for the reception. She began crying, and I did feel bad, but I wasn't going to take back what I said. After leaving, the family has been telling my husband to apologize, and they aren't messaging me as what I said was too harsh. I find that bogus, but whatever. Am I the
No, no, not at all. Super rude,
literally
especially given the circumstances that she took her in after her parents passed. Like, come on.
right?
Even if it wasn't that situation and she adopted a child, in the end that's her child, blood or not. Legally, that's her child.
Right.
So yeah, that's just flat out rude on the mother-in-law's end. And I think it's valid that she kicked her out of the wedding ceremony.
I think so.
Did it actually like happen though? Like,
I
is there
think
an
so.
update?
Um, there isn't, but based off of comments, I kind of think that they just proceeded as such, that she accepted that she wasn't going to the wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because who are you to say like who's gonna be the flower girl? And if it wasn't her, like who else is gonna be the flower girl? Like
I guess she was wanting like cousins or
cousin?
something.
It's her wedding,
Yeah, that and like I don't know.
and it's her daughter. Like,
I'm not a mom, but like if my son was marrying a girl like that, I would be like, "Wow, like
yeah,
she's an angel for
it's
taking this little child in and wanting to include her in the wedding."
facts.
Like,
Yeah, yeah. That shows like the type of person that your son is marrying. Yeah, you should be
right.
glad.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Power trip.
literally. And like what's it to you? Like it's a flower girl. Like who like
Just some people, especially in that sense, some people feel like they have a say in everything
yeah.
because they're part of the family, and
Yeah.
it's her son getting.
And it's crazy too because like this little girl is 5.
Yeah,
She has, let's say, 13 years that she's going to be with this family.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like not that it's any different, but if she was 17, be like, okay, yeah, it's a little harder to maybe accept her into the family, but like she is 5. Like
yeah.
that kid is going to be raised for the most part by them,
And
you
she's
know?
5 at the time of the story. Like, who
Mhm.
knows when they adopted her? When she
Yeah.
adopted her?
It seems like it was pretty recent.
Recent. Yeah,
Yeah. Which even then, that's another thing of like, wow, like, yes, I took you in, but I really want you to feel included as my daughter.
yeah.
So, like, be my flower girl in my wedding.
Especially like what she's been through.
Right. And like that poor girl, like, as the mother in law, you don't have any right to sit there and belittle this little girl who literally just lost her family.
Nuts.
Like, overall vote on this one is not the
I
apple, for
figured.
sure.
Yeah.
Top comment is not the apple, and I really hope your fiance has your back on this one. I feel so sorry for your daughter. When you and your fiance have children together, it's clear his family is going to treat her even worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's just very eye-opening of like they're never going to accept her as family, so you as the now parents have to kind of step up more and make her
In that
known that
case, yeah, yeah. In that case, that's where you have to step up the most
yeah,
for her,
yeah,
for the little girl.
and make sure she knows that you guys are there even if the other people aren't, you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
It's just insane. Like
Well,
I could not fathom that.
I know some of these stories are like
Like
I
people like
can't.
that exist.
Yeah, like I can't imagine doing that to someone.
No.
You know?
Especially like I said, like an angel for taking in
Yeah.
her best friend's kid. Like because I feel like a lot of people are godparents, but like when that day actually comes, like
They're like, oh crap.
right.
Like,
Like that's a lot of responsibility to just like
yeah, yeah.
these people.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for the next story?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is coming from r/just no mother-in-law, 3 years old, titled, Mother-in-law gifted me laser tattoo removal for my birthday. ... I don't want them removed.
Suggestion.
Yeah. Hi, Reddit. I had to share this story. My husband, 43 male, and I, 31 female, have been married for 3 years, together for 6. Obviously, there is an age gap between my husband and I, which has never really been an issue for us. My mother-in-law, however, has always greatly disapproved and likes to talk to me like I'm a rebellious teenager instead of her son's life partner. A big issue for her is the fact that I have tattoos. Lots of them. I love all my tattoos. They were all very well done and a huge part of my identity. I can't imagine myself without them, and my husband loves how they look on me. Mother-in-law made a few comments while we were dating, but my husband told her privately to drop it. 3 years ago, my husband and I hosted our families for my birthday dinner. It was our first big get-together after getting married, and everyone was nice enough to bring me a gift, even though they didn't have to. I was going to open them after everyone left, but mother-in-law handed me an envelope at the dinner table and insisted I open it immediately. Inside was a card and a gift certificate to a local tattoo removal business for $500. I was confused and asked her what this was for. She said that since I was a married woman now and planning to have kids, she assumed I would want my tattoos removed. Both my husband and I were kind of taken aback and stunned. I half-heartedly thanked her, and the party continued. Later, my husband called her and told her off. He insisted she take it back or get her money back. She absolutely refused and insisted I would want it someday. 3 years later, her $500 is sitting in my kitchen junk drawer, and I've added 3 more tattoos to my collection since then. That's all.
That's all?
Yeah.
No question?
No. just a statement.
Sounds like a different universe of us.
Luckily, your parents don't care about mine, but...
Yeah, I mean, going off, like, because my parents are more on the traditional side, you know, I told them ahead of time, like, before you meet her, she has tattoos. And, you know, obviously after they met you, they're like, oh, she's super sweet. Like, we don't care.
Right.
You know, so, and this is just one of those other things where it doesn't matter. I feel like it doesn't matter who the other person is. She already has that notion like, oh, I don't want my daughter-in-law to have tattoos.
Yeah.
If she's going to be a mom or whatnot. And obviously, like, pushing it on her, uncool. In the end, if someone really wants to remove the tattoos, they're going to do it. They don't need your card to do it. But I also feel like this is one of those things where the husband needs to, like, step in. But it's always tough between... I would say it's tougher between a son and his mom and his wife or fiance or girlfriend.
That's fair.
You know, because they're always going to be, like, in the middle, you know, trying to decide. And obviously there's that right or wrong spectrum, but they're always going to be in that tough place trying to choose. Yeah. You know.
Because, like, yeah, you want to defend your wife, but also you can't be too mean to your mom because it's your mom.
Yeah.
I personally just hate when people, regardless if it's in-laws or anyone else, when people make decisions for other people. Because, like...
Or suggest to make a decision. Yeah. Yes, agreed.
Because it's like, if anything, like, human nature is when you're told to, like, not do something, you're naturally gonna want to do it more.
Do it more, yeah.
So, like...
Or me, when I'm told to do something,
you don't
want to do it now.
Yeah. You like it when it's your idea.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
When it's other people's. Like, it's just... It's insane to me, too, of, like, oh, it wasn't really an issue, but now that you're a wife and you're gonna be a mom, like, now it's an issue. Like, she's the same person.
I kind of understand the mom side, like, if she's if she's going to become a mom, like, I get it. But in the end, we live in a time and age where that stuff doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah. If they don't see it from their mom, they're going to see it at the
elsewhere.
grocery store.
Yeah. It's not like the 30s or the 40s where if people did have tattoos, they would cover them up
right
all day, every day.
Yeah.
You know.
I think it's also a very different story if, like, your tattoos are vulgar or anything like that. But I mean, from what I'm gathering, I'm just gonna assume that they're not.
Let's assume that they're not.
Let's assume that they're not.
For sake of the story.
But, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. What are the comments saying?
Top comment is maybe put the gift certificate on Marketplace or something.
True, yeah, it's free $500.
Yeah.
Sell for $400 or something.
Yeah. Or $300.
Yeah.
And then someone else is saying, sadly, we can't gift you laser mother-in-law removal. And then this one I think is funny just because I know how expensive these things are. This comment says, she's funny if she thinks $500 is even enough to completely get rid of multiple tattoos.
That was one of my thoughts, was like, if she has like multiple tattoos, like, I doubt $500 is going to remove all of them. Like, it takes thousands and thousands of dollars to remove one.
Yeah.
From what I've like seen.
Yeah, well, even my mom in the 90s got a very small inch big tattoo removed and spent way over $1,000.
Yeah.
And it was this
and that
big.
Was back then.
Right.
Yeah. It's a starter.
Yeah. Like, oh, maybe if you like how the results are looking, you keep it up.
Spending all that money on tattoos and then spending all that money to remove them.
Well, that's the thing. Like, tattoos are probably, I would say, 5 times more expensive to get removed than they are to get.
Sure, yeah.
Because tattoos aren't cheap, but like to get them removed, it's like crazy.
And I would say it's more liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with scarring and I don't know. I think she just wanted an excuse to say something that she didn't like about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Next story, coming from r/relationship advice, 3 years old. Titled, My father-in-law lied to my husband that I cheated on him. I did not.
Rude.
My husband and his dad are best friends. They work together, hang out together, etc. I've always known his dad didn't like me, but things got worse after we moved out of his house and got our own. He'll act nice in front of my husband, except for some non-funny jokes or smart comments. But the minute my husband is not around, he gets rude to me. Like reminding me that I come from a poor family, would never have a big house or a nice car if it wasn't for his son. He just constantly insinuates that I married his son for money, which is not true at all. I got tired of mentioning it to my husband because he just brushes it off. Father-in-law has told me a couple times that I should divorce his son before he tells him the truth. I knew I haven't done anything wrong, so I didn't really know what to say. I even asked my husband exactly 2 weeks ago what would happen if his dad made up some lies about me, and he said his dad would never do that. Well, he did. He told my husband that he has seen me around town with a man multiple times and that I was seen getting a hotel room with this same man. He claims he's seen us kiss. I wasn't around when he told my husband all of this. I told him it's a lie, but I can tell he is now doubting my word. I asked if his dad had some kind of proof, and he said no. Then he told me he needs to be away from me for a few days to clear his head and went straight to his dad's. To me, that means he just believes his dad's lies. Why would his dad go out of his way to do this? And why would my husband just believe it? This just seems so unfair. You'd think he would at least expect some type of proof before shutting me out and treating me like I did something wrong. I don't know if I'm supposed to beg him to come back or just let his dad's plan work. I know the longer he stays there, the more he will believe these lies.
That's really, really tough.
Yeah.
Going off, and this is just how I think naturally, going off if whatever she's saying is 100% true. The truth should always set you free. I would say let it be. Because in the end, when you know you've done nothing wrong, at that point, like, yes, defend yourself, but you shouldn't have to beg your husband or wife or boyfriend, girlfriend that you didn't do something. Because I also feel like that could turn back on you if you're begging. It could go off the notion of like, is there truth to it? Like, are you feeling that guilty? Defend yourself, but begging, no. I would say let it be. And in the end, if justice is going to be served one way or another, if you're 100% honest and nothing actually transpired, then you don't have anything to worry about.
For sure.
And if that's what ends you guys, unfortunately, then there was different issues at hand.
I agree. I think, like you said, it's either his dad is gonna kind of dig himself a hole and kind of accidentally admit to the truth, or if the husband is literally like, I don't want to hear any other sides, it honestly probably wasn't meant to be. Like, as like terrible as that is, like, you should be marrying someone who is willing to hear you out. And like, I agree with her. Like, at least expect some proof. Like, yes, you want to trust your dad and you want to believe what your dad is saying is true, but regardless of who you are in my life, if you come to me and say, hey, your wife is cheating on you, and you have nothing to back it up, I'm going to be a little cautious about that.
Like, naturally, when someone says that, you're going to be like, okay, what if it is true? I get that.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter who it is. If someone comes up to you, especially if it's like close family or even friend, you're going to be like, okay, like, what if it is true? And I understand that part. But yes, you have to, in that sense, think logically. Is there proof? What's he doing following her around? He went to the motel with them, but didn't confront them. Like,
yeah. I think it's,
or at least take a picture. Like that, if I was snooping around and I saw that and I didn't want to confront them, phones nowadays you could zoom in pretty well and take a picture of the car and whatnot, and that's all you need.
Yeah.
So that would be my first thought. It's like, okay, why didn't you do that?
For sure. And I think it's a matter of like having that discussion with your wife too. Like, if it comes to the point and you don't have any proof, your first option is to just up and leave, as opposed to like, hey, let me see what my wife has to say about this. You know? Which I understand. Yeah, there's a possibility it could be true, but like, you didn't even ask her. You just left.
I mean, naturally, people who do cheat though aren't going to admit it.
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know, at least with us, I can read your body language, even if you're lying to me. Like, I'd be able to be like, okay, something's weird.
And I'm home.
Right. And I have the car.
You have the car. Can't really go anywhere.
Take a walk. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta leave. Walk in Florida humidity to go cheat. Okay.
95 degrees outside.
Pass.
Top comment is confront him and record it, either video or an auto recording. Since he goes out of his way to do this every time your husband's not around, that's the perfect chance for you to catch him in his lies. Maybe record a phone call between you and your father-in-law.
It's not a bad idea. Like, if she called him or, they set up a conversation and she goes off in a sense of like, hey, why would you do this? And if he tells her the truth or anything slips, then there you go.
Yeah, for sure. My problem with that is I feel like since the husband is staying with the dad now, getting that recording after the fact is going to be a little harder.
True.
Because in the dad's mind, like, he already got what he wants. Yeah. So, like, why is he going to talk to you?
Is there an update?
No.
Oh,
there is.
Oh.
I lied. Sorry. Let me see if it's anything exciting. I'll just read it and we can make our own judgment together. Update was posted 3 weeks later. Update. I posted a few weeks ago after my father-in-law, who hates me, lied to my husband that I was cheating. My husband just fell for his lies without even asking for proof. Things got crazy. He assumed his dad was telling the truth and left our house to go stay with him. I kept telling him, if his dad is telling the truth, then he needs to be able to show some kind of proof. I'm guessing that didn't happen because my husband came back and apologized for not trusting me more.
Hmm.
But ever since he's been back, he's been obsessed with the idea of getting pregnant, talking about it constantly, physically trying as well. I keep telling him I'm 23 and I'm not ready. Of course, we will have babies, but I want to just keep working on us, especially with what just happened.
True.
He doesn't like those answers. Now he's calling me suspicious and says my answers don't make any sense to him. It feels like we're back to him not trusting me once again. I don't know what's going on. I just want some kind of outside input because I'm starting to really wonder if this relationship is even working.
Sounds like they have trust and control issues. Because, yeah, like, let's say if that is a scenario, like, you should wait on having kids until you guys figure out your stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to have a kid to seal everything. Like, that doesn't.
No, 100%. That's how I feel too. A lot of people have this notion of like
A baby will solve the problem.
that and like she wouldn't cheat on me if we have a baby, you know? Like yeah. A lot of people do have that idea though, and it's a very twisted idea and
No, she's valid in that case. Well, number
yeah.
one, if she's not ready, then yeah, you shouldn't have a baby. But number two, given the circumstance, then yeah, they should wait.
Yeah, clearly you guys have some other issues
Yeah.
going on before we
Yeah.
could start thinking about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wonder though, like, if something did slip from his dad, because he
It
like
would have
randomly came back and was just like, I should have trusted you. I'm sorry.
either something slipped or the stories didn't add up. And then
Fair.
he saw through that. Because generally, like when you lie, your stories will start to over time change, shift, things like that. When it's the truth, like it is what it is. That's it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Next story today. This one is coming from r/2 hot takes, 2 years old, titled My Mother-in-Law Doesn't Let Me Have Sex with My Husband.
The insanity.
Yeah, right? My husband and I got married a year ago. He and I didn't live together before. In fact, we hardly saw each other because we both worked and studied at the same time. So, our time together was quite limited before now. We got married and went to live together in his apartment. Unfortunately, 2 months after our wedding, his father died in a tragic accident. My mother-in-law and my husband, who is an only child, were devastated as it was very sudden. My mother-in-law, left alone, began to suggest to my husband that we move into her house to keep her company. But because she is from another state, we couldn't due to our jobs and college. Then she came to us. Our apartment is 2 rooms, so my mother-in-law occupied one and my husband and I occupied the other. I mean, my mother-in-law never liked me. She is one of the mothers who think that no woman is good enough for her son. As a couple who are still in their honeymoon stage, we had sex frequently, every day, even multiple times a day sometimes. This changed when my mother-in-law arrived, since the apartment is small, so I don't feel comfortable doing it that often with her living there. The thing is that when we did have sex, my husband's mother would magically interrupt us. It didn't matter what time it was. Even if it was 3 a.m., she casually got up and knocked on our door asking what we were doing. Or telling my husband that she feels bad because her head hurts or random things like that.
What are you guys doing?
This has been going on since my mother-in-law moved in with us. It's been a stressful 7 months. Besides, I have no privacy of any kind. She also criticizes everything I do, especially my food. My husband tries to give me my place, saying things like, "It's not true, Mom. The food tastes good. Stop being mean." What really annoyed me was the fact that she started saying several things of value and money were lost in her room, casually the day that I happened to stay home. I really got fed up. I told my husband that this wasn't really what I expected out of our marriage. I agreed to let her move in with us because my father-in-law passed away and I was really trying to be empathetic towards her and her pain. But I'm not going to let her call me a thief in my own house. Now I'm at my parents' house. My husband keeps calling me and sending messages for me to come back. But I don't know what to do anymore. This is stressful.
Yeah, that's really, really tough. These situations, like, kudos to them for being empathetic and obviously having her mother-in-law live with them.
Yeah.
But these are the issues that can occur. I mean, it's not all the time. I feel like if this scenario was like multiplied, I'm sure there's good stories from it.
For sure.
But if she is nosy or doesn't like you and things like that, this is a situation it creates, you know? And I'm sure you have to ask yourself, is she staying there permanently? Like, is this going to be an ongoing thing?
It's
Or,
been 7 months now.
I mean, is there other apartment units in the building?
Right. She can be close by.
Yeah, you could be close by in the same building, but just a different apartment.
Yeah.
You know? Because in the end, when it's your space, it's your space. Like, it's how it is. Doesn't matter if it's your mom, my mom, or whatnot. In the end, it has to be your own space.
Yeah.
Especially for like a younger married couple.
Yeah.
And depends on how loud they're having sex.
Like, yes. But
if they're being a little bit inconsiderate, fine.
Yeah. But I would assume and hope that, you know, they know that she's there, so they're probably trying to be more quiet.
Sure.
I would hope. I would hope. But also at the same time, like, that's kind of on the mother-in-law in that aspect of, like, you know, they just got married 2 months ago. Like, you should kind of expect, if I'm gonna be here for longer than a month, that's gonna happen. Like, if you're staying for a week, okay, I hope you have enough self-control to not do it for
True,
a week.
yeah.
But, like, after a month, like, you expect them to just not do it? Like, I don't know. Like, you're the one staying at their place.
And the fact that I'm assuming the mother-in-law doesn't work, so she's constantly home.
Right.
It's tough.
Yeah.
That's just tough, man. Like,
I think the interrupting is a little crazy, though.
the knock on the
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
I mean, if you have an issue with it, like, maybe, hey, in the next morning, like, hey, guys, like...
I feel like she's probably not doing it in a way for them to prevent them from that. I think she just doesn't want to hear it.
Yes, but it's interesting to me because our OP does go into, like, other things that the mother-in-law is doing that leads her to believe that she doesn't like her.
True, the whole thief thing,
Yeah.
like, especially in
And
your
the
own
food.
house. Like, if they're staying over in her place, then if she doesn't like her, she could use that.
Right.
But, like, you're staying at my place,
Right.
and you're accusing me of stealing your stuff.
Right, and you're insulting my food in my house.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, that stuff is definitely over.
So I think it's the combination of everything, too, that it's just, like...
I mean, this is just the situation of, like, you need your own space. Like, that's just what it is, especially if you're a married couple. Like, like, if you have a big house, not even big, but if you have, like, a multi-level house, maybe, I don't know, 3-4 bedrooms.
Separate floors.
And your mom moves in with you, fine. You know, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But if it's a 2-bedroom apartment...
Rooms are typically next to each other.
Thin walls.
Yeah.
Whatnot. You're not going to have your own space.
Yeah. I like your idea of, like, get her an apartment close by, but...
Yeah, get a unit in the building, so if she needs you guys, you're there. If she wants to visit, you're there, but...
You still have your space.
You still have your spaise.
And she has her space, too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, can't be fun for her.
Or maybe she doesn't like that. She likes being with people.
Maybe.
Because you gotta realize, too, her husband passed, so she probably doesn't like being alone, and this is the first time she would be, like, 100% alone. So
Which
I
makes
get that
sense.
part.
Yeah.
But I think the best solution is get her own apartment close by.
Go to Japan and rent a family.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Top comment is, "What are you doing?" Quotes, "I'm having sex with my husband. Come back later or leave."
Come back later. Come back in 3 minutes.
Yeah, literally.
Come back.
I do have a little bit of an update. It's not super exciting, but basically just saying I talked with my husband and we agreed that this isn't good to start our marriage this way.
True.
He kicked her out. She didn't take it too well. Ended up telling them that I actually sold my house, so I actually don't have anywhere to go when they kicked her out. Apparently, she found somewhere else to live, but hasn't really been talking to them after that. But the relationship with her and her husband is better. So that's about it.
That's good. I mean, I don't like the fact that she said kicked her out. Like, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be a notion of like you kick out your own mom.
No, it's
It
like,
should be like, hey,
this isn't working out anymore.
and once again, there's one of the things where it should be between the son and mom.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, mom, like, I'm glad you're here. We want to help, but we still need our own space.
Yeah.
There's unit right across.
I already signed the lease with you.
There you go. We'll be close by if you
Yeah.
need anything.
Yeah.
That's the best way to handle it.
Yeah. It's also like having that conversation, not just leaving her high and dry, but just, you know, because you don't want to ever put your own parents in a situation of like they don't have any place to live.
Yeah, if she legit does not have a place to live, you're not just gonna like literally kick her out, be like, okay, let's help you find a place.
Yeah.
And you'll be close by.
Yeah. I think there needed to be a first conversation, just to like, hey, just so you know, like, you know, we are newlyweds, we want our own space, we love you here, like we're happy to help during this grieving time, but like this arrangement isn't working out this way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I don't like the fact that she said kicked her out.
Yeah, same. I mean, she said that the husband handled the conversation, so
yeah.
Who knows how he actually worded it.
True,
but,
true.
Yeah.
True.
Weird. One more story for today. This one is coming from r/am I overreacting, 26 days old. Titled, "Am I overreacting for kicking out my in-laws after my mother-in-law criticized my outfit for, quotes, leaving them out like that when they showed up unannounced?"
Leaving them out like that.
Hello, Reddit. I am posting this from a throwaway account. I, 24 female, was at home with my husband. I had made our food, and we were already sitting down eating. I wasn't wearing a bra, but I was at home with just my husband, and I wasn't expecting any company, so I felt comfortable just like that. Then there was a knock on the door. My husband opened it, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law followed him into the living room where I was eating. I stood up to greet them, and I said hi. And then father-in-law said hi back, and mother-in-law said to me, "Are you really just leaving them out like that around us?" while she was looking at my chest. I got embarrassed and said, "I'll get changed," and went over to the bedroom. But when I started going over to get changed, I realized, wait, who do they think they are talking to me like that when they just showed up unannounced and I was relaxing in my own house? Like talking to me condescendingly about what I was wearing when what else was I supposed to do? I ended up walking back over to them where they were sitting on the couch, watching TV, and I told them if they're going to judge me like that, they can leave, and they looked at me weirdly and didn't really respond. My husband tried to calm me down, but I was upset. Mother-in-law said they were just trying to visit, but I didn't back down. I made them leave, and my husband ended up pushing them out and then threw some huffs and glared at me. They were disrespecting me in my own house. Am I overreacting?
No. She's not. She's correct. It's her house. They show up uninvited. Agreed. Especially if it's between us, you know, like, I don't wear bras. But, but you know, if I want to hang around my underwear, it's fine.
No one's coming over.
It's you and the cat. Like,
right.
And someone comes uninvited. I mean, I might run and put pants on. I guess that's a different story. But to me, though, and what do I always say is...
You say a lot of things.
Do I?
Yeah.
I got like 5 catchphrases. Is choose your battles.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is going to be a little bit of a hot take, but I think this is one of those scenarios where you choose your battles. Because either you're going to be like, okay, whatever, I'll put on a bra. You hang out with them, that's it. It's over. Like, you
deal with it inside.
Yeah. And then if you want to talk to your husband after, whatever, fine. Or number 2, you create this situation, even though they created it. I understand that, but you escalate it, and now it's weird.
Yeah.
And then you decide if you're gonna mend it back or not. They'll learn that, okay, we get it, we went to the house, but if they're past a certain age, sometimes it's like, are you really going to try to teach them?
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm really not like saying what she did was wrong. It's just a matter of like, okay, which scenario would you prefer?
Yeah.
And I think in her head, given the moment, she got heated from it and was like, screw this. And she is right. Like, I agree. She is right. It's your house. But sometimes just choose your battles.
Yeah. I think my thing starts with showing up uninvited. Regardless of if I have a bra on or not, this is the reason why you call people when you're coming over.
Agree, yeah.
If you, as the in-laws, are going to care about what she's wearing when you get there, that was your responsibility to call and at least say, hey, we're in the neighborhood, we'll be there in 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay, perfect, How
do you know we're not nudists?
Right. And we've just been keeping it secret from you this whole time. No, it's also like, what if we're in the shower? What if we're literally not home? Like, you never, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one thing about uninvited is like,
you don't know what's going on.
when we were living close to my parents, back home, like, it was always a given that we would go see them on the weekend. But always texted them, even though we're like 10 minutes away, like, hey, we'll be there in 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I know they don't do anything weird, but
you never know.
Just in case,
Yeah. Even with like my best friend in Indiana, we got to the point where like we were seeing each other every single day. I was going to her house after school, but I never, even though it was an everyday thing, I never once got to the point where I just assumed I was coming over.
Right.
Like I would always just text her like, hey, I'll be there in 5, you know, or like just something like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the issue starts of like, I never understand how people can just show up to other people's houses.
Agreed.
And then much less like expect you to be looking a certain way, doing a certain thing when like I had no idea you were coming. Yeah, I had no idea you were coming.
Oh, this is me every night on a weekday.
Top comment is you're not overreacting. At your age, I didn't wear a bra often at all. I know it made some people uncomfortable, but it's only a body. Everyone has one. Nobody is perfect. And at the end of the day, it is your house.
And 100% true. 100% true. Going back to what I was saying.
No, and you're definitely right. And you had a good point on like, I'm assuming they're probably at least a little bit older. We don't have ages for the in-laws. But like, you get to a point where like, you can't teach old dogs new tricks,
Yeah.
Like, they're set in their ways. They're not gonna... It could have been a matter of like, hey, next time you guys are coming over, like, give us a call rather than like, get out if you're gonna talk to me like that. Yeah. But
you just can't turn every single thing you disagree with into let me show them who's right. Yeah. You can't. Because at that point, it's gonna cause issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to lose to not lose more.
Yeah. My other thing with that though, on the other side, not to play devil's advocate, but you also don't want to ever get someone in a routine where they feel comfortable talking to you like that. Because if you just keep letting it go on and go on and go on, eventually it gets to a point where like, and that's kind of what it seems like happened here. Like it seems like there were other things previously that built up to this, and this was kind of just like, I'm done with you talking to me like that.
Sure. Yeah, and who knows what's happened before.
Right.
Just going off this scenario.
Yeah.
Now, once again, the husband's in the middle.
I know. Always. Luckily, your parents like me. So.
Yeah.
That is all I have for us today.
That was good.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and comment your take down below. And don't forget to subscribe. There's a new episode every Friday. Thanks.